It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's about time. It's time. Folks, the time has finally arrived. We've waited 8 long years for this, and finally, the successor to the Nintendo Switch has been revealed. Now, we're still waiting on the official specs and details, but all signs point to the system having a bigger screen, bigger Joy-Cons with possible mouse functionality, an improved kickstand, a secondary USB-C port, and custom NVIDIA Tegra graphics processing that would put the Switch 2 more in line with consoles like the PS4 or the Xbox One. They also appear to be launching with a new Mario Kart game that looks like it supports up to 24 racers. Now, the Switch has been a titanically successful console. It's sold nearly 150 million units and brought us incredible titles like Super Mario Odyssey, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Smash Bros. Ultimate, Animal Crossing New Horizons, just to name a few. But there's another thing about the Switch that stands out as its time as Nintendo's main console. Remakes. Metroid Prime, Super Mario Bros. All-Stars, Pokemon Let's Go, Super Mario RPG, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, Link's Awakening, Donkey Kong Country. It feels like half of the Switch's library is just games that came out on previous consoles that have been remade for modern hardware. Don't get me wrong, many of these remakes were done with immense amounts of care, and often they modernize the classic and make them arguably better than the original. But it's hard to deny that remaking old games has become a staple in Nintendo's design philosophy. So, as we enter the Switch 2 era, I wanted to lay out my expectations to Mr. Nintendo himself as to which franchises I would like to see remade for the new console. And if you don't meet my demands, Nintendo, well, okay, I'll probably still buy a system, but I'm not gonna buy a fancy case. Let's start with Nintendo's Golden Boy, our overall-clad, mushroom-gobbling short king, Super Mario. Now, even though he's the company's mascot and the face of several franchises, Nintendo seems a bit shy about remaking flagship 3D games to really take advantage of modern hardware. 2D Mario games got plenty of ports back during the Game Boy era, but ever since the advent of Mario Maker, it just doesn't feel like they need to port a 2D Mario game ever again, because now there's just this bottomless pit of 2D Mario content that you could play as much as you want in any 2D aesthetic. I want a remake with pizzazz. We're overdue for a 3D game remake that adds new content and makes use of modern hardware to really show off the fantastical worlds that they've created. And what better game to do so with than Mario Sunshine? Personally, Sunshine is my favorite 3D Mario, and even though it does get some love online, I still feel like it's underappreciated in the pantheon of 3D Mario games. Which is dumb. It feels like the most comprehensive and lived-in world rather than a series of disconnected levels. It's ripe with fun secrets to uncover, and its sunny and colorful aesthetic and upbeat soundtrack always puts a smile on my face. They made some really smart choices with its design, so it hasn't aged too badly, but there's still room for improvement. Besides the obvious, like improving textures and resolution, the game makes heavy use of fluid physics between the ocean and blood and the goopy goo that you gotta clean up. These all would benefit greatly from a remake with modern graphic processing. I mean, this might be totally overkill, but like imagine Mario Sunshine with the water graphics of Sea of Thieves. And if they wanted to get really wacky and wild with it, they could even make the whole island open to explore. I mean, they basically imply that everything's in close proximity to the hub in Delfino Plaza anyways. Why not let us freely travel the island? Plus, hear me out, Luigi levels where he goes Ghostbuster mode on a haunted pirate ship, or Captain Toad going treasure hunting for buried treasure. There's loads of opportunity for expanded content and crossover potential. Please, Nintendo, this is the closest I'm gonna get to a summer vacation as an adult. I need this. Now, Pokemon actually does a great job with their remakes. Each mainline generation brings improved graphics and tech, as well as new Pokemon and features, so they go back and retouch the old entries to bring them up to modern standards. Gen 3 had Leaf Green and Fire Red, Gen 4 had Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which is objectively the best Pokemon game. Gen 6 had Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and Gen 8 had the Diamond and Pearl remakes, which left a little bit to be desired, but you get the point. So I know what you're thinking. Gen 5 remake time, right? No, I don't care if it has the coolest story or the best Pokédex or the best post-game. You want to know what else it gave us?
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Trash Bag! Plus, honestly, I just didn't really play Gen 5, so personally, I have very little attachment to it. What I do have attachment to, though, is Pokemon Colosseum. This deep cut of a game was the first real 3D outing for the RPG side of Pokemon. Yeah, Stadium and Stadium 2 existed, but those were just battles in minigames. Colosseum, as well as its sequel, XD Gale of Darkness, actually featured full stories with the ability to build your team from a fixed collection of shadow Pokemon that you'd catch directly from evil trainers that you fought throughout the game. It was weird, it was dark, and the graphics looked pretty dated. But it was also a really creative spin on the Pokemon formula. Plus it gave us this banger. Unfortunately, they're only available on the GameCube, and used copies can run for over $100 online. So it's incredibly difficult for most people to experience these games at all. At a bare minimum, I'd love to see Colosseum and Gale of Darkness get some sort of a bundled remaster where you could play both games on new hardware at upscaled resolutions. But it'd be even better if they did a full remake, improving the character models and Pokemon models and updating typings and movesets. Maybe they could even expand the Pokédex and include newer Pokemon via post-game activities and new side quests. I know it's a long shot, but it's really frustrating to see creative spin-offs like this fall by the wayside and become completely inaccessible, especially considering the Virtual Console is right there, practically begging to be a home for these types of games. It was honestly really hard picking from the massive list of really unique Pokemon spin-offs I'd love to see remade. So I just hope that at least one of them gets to see some love on the Switch too. Let's talk about Zelda. Zelda games have a decent history of getting at least HD ports, if not full remakes. Yeah. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword all got the HD treatment, while Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask both got 3DS ports with improved textures. But I'd like to draw our attention to the Link's Awakening remake for the Switch, because it's perhaps the most drastic remake in all of Zelda history. Not only did the Link's Awakening remake have a total visual overhaul, but it also included an updated soundtrack and quality of life enhancements. It had a shareable dungeon designer and tons of other minor improvements and tweaks. It also established this toy box look for the 2D games that carried over into Echoes of Wisdom as well. A look that I think looks great for this style of Zelda. It really captures the whimsy and charm of the 2D games while still looking super polished. And so, Nintendo, please give us the Oracle games in this format. Bundle pack, separate games, I don't care. The Oracle games are so good and so overdue for more love. If you've never played them, each game is its own distinct thing, with unique maps and stories and characters and items. Seasons focused more on action and had you shifting the world between different seasons to solve puzzles and unlock new areas. And Ages had more of a puzzle focus and had you traveling through time and changing things in the past to affect the future. That's not all though. These games also featured a New Game Plus, linking the two games with passwords that you unlocked after beating the opposite game, expanding the story and adding a new secret final boss. I even have my old copy of Oracle of Ages. I don't know where Seasons went. I'm not gonna propose anything crazy outside of what's already been done with the Link's Awakening remake. That formula worked great, and the engine is awesome. I just want to see these games get that same level of polish and love. Kirby's had quite a run on the Switch. 2 mainline games, one of which was the best-selling Kirby game of all time, 3 eShop spin-offs, and a mainline remake. That gives Kirby more representation on the Switch than a lot of other huge Nintendo properties. It's clear that Nintendo loves their Lovecraftian little puffball. which leaves me with a question. Why then have we not gotten an Air Ride remake? It's obvious that Mario Kart is Nintendo's main racing series, but it's not their only one. Diddy Kong Racing was a lot of fun, it just was too similar to Mario Kart. And Captain Falcon at this point has become more of a Smash Bros character since Nintendo seems to have zero interest in F-Zero other than that weird Battle Royale one they made a couple years ago. But Kirby Air Ride for the GameCube is top tier. There's so much creativity in the vehicle designs, and the way that they use Kirby's transformations as power-ups during the race honestly gave it such a distinct identity. Okay, the racing could be a bit disorienting and clunky at times, but city mode. See, beyond pure racing, Kirby Air Ride also featured a secondary mode called City Trials, where you'd explore this big open city, collecting power-ups, swapping cars, dodging random events, and battling other players as you tried to collect as many stat boosts as you could before a timer ran out. After that, they would throw you into a minigame arena and pitch your upgrades against the other players to see who comes out on top. My brother and I probably spent like 80 or 90% of our playtime in this mode, and damn, it was fun. Chaotic fun. Sometimes we wouldn't even compete. We just set the game timer to the maximum time possible and try to collect all the cars and get them on the weird magic sky UFO and pretend to be used car salesmen. You know what? I don't even care if we get the racing back. Just give me a downloadable City Trials and maybe give me another map or two and I'll shut up for the rest of the Switch's lifespan. We need Nintendogs. Where are they, Nintendo? You made a portable console with HD graphics and all sorts of fancy features, and yet you can't give us portable pets? Nintendogs and Cats was apparently the first platinum-selling game on the 3DS, and the OG Nintendogs was the second best-selling game on the DS, only behind Mario. So why haven't you given us our dogs back? I know that my Nintendog is in my closet right now, and I don't have the heart to take it down and boot the game back up because I'm so worried about how much it missed me for the last decade. I want to be very specific with this request. I want Nintendogs Dachshund and Friends remade. That was the version I had growing up. It had golden retrievers in it. If they have to remake the other ones, that's fine too, or combine them all into a singular game. I don't care. I miss my childhood dog, Ruby. And I would like to create a virtual sequel, Ruby 2, Attack of the Clones, to fill the hole in my heart. Whatever edition or combo pack you need to create, just make it include golden retrievers, please and thank you. DK Country has been making a comeback with Tropical Freeze and now the DK Country remake. But here's the thing, I've never actually played a Donkey Kong game before, with the exception of one glorious Donkey Kong game that, in my eyes, must stand above the others because of its sheer audacity to exist. I, of course, am referring to Donkey Konga. Now, I'm not gonna say that Donkey Konga pioneered the new era of rhythm games at home, but I will say that if it weren't for these bad boys, who knows if I'd have gone on to be the Guitar Hero maniac that I was in middle school. Donkey Konga lets you tear up bongo tracks and clap along to some incredible remixes of both DK and other classic Nintendo tunes as you played on these sweet custom bongo controllers that came with the game. I yearn for the days of weird, niche controller peripherals, as well as the golden age of rhythm games, so I will continue to hold out hope that Donkey Konga will someday make a return. And in the meantime, I'll continue to occasionally play it on my Twitch stream and forget to turn on the system audio. And for my final game, perhaps one of the rarest of them all, a game so niche, so obscure that many people had no idea that it existed, even to this day. It featured a weird peripheral, a bitchin' soundtrack, and Nintendo's golden boy himself. And yet, it continues to live in obscurity and solitude. What is this game, you might ask? Dance Dance Revolution. Mario Mix. Just Dance was incredibly popular on the Switch, so why not take a shot remaking this? Oh, it's too weird for you? You made an alarm clock. You don't get to talk about things being too weird. You don't have to sell us the dance mat, just give us motion controls. Though I'd also love to know where I can buy a dance mat, because I lost mine. Just let us keep the awesome soundtrack and the batshit insane story mode where you save the kingdom through the power of friendship and dance. Please, I want some weirdo shit. With a new console comes a new era, and a new chance to honor the past. I, for one, am really excited to see what the Switch 2 will bring. Between their theme parks and the music app and the museum that opened up in Kyoto, Nintendo also seems more eager than ever to revisit their old classics and walk down memory lane. I'm crossing my fingers that means we're not only gonna get new, exciting journeys, but also get to relive amazing old ones too. This video honestly could have gone on forever with how many games I'd love to have mentioned, but I had to cut it off somewhere. Let me know in the comments if there's games you'd like to see remade or even get a sequel on the Switch 2. It's all that we can really do until the system launches anyways. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and like the video, and go check me out over on Twitch. I stream a couple nights a week over there and do all sorts of stuff, so I'd love to talk gaming with you more over there as well. Until then, take care, peace out, and I'll see you next time.